testify before this committee focusing on the state of affordable housing and homelessness. My name is Kwaku Atiba. I'm a 61-year-old African-American man. I have lived in the Chocolate City, which is known as D.C., for 60 years and have witnessed and recently experienced the dismal feeling of being homeless due to personal hardships. How does it feel to be homeless? I'm sure you've heard the testimony of several people who have experienced that. And continuing on, you feel like you have no self-worth, you feel unproductive, your self-esteem is very low, almost dismal. These are the personal feelings I have felt. I feel no motivation to pursue anything of positive structure or substance in life. That's what the state of homelessness perpetuates. People deteriorate. Mental health deteriorates. When one is homeless, they feel empty. They feel absolutely helpless. Being dependent on other folks to sustain your well-being does something to a person's psyche and self-esteem. In most cases, people are suicidal and give up on life. Most recently, my experience has turned traumatic due to unaffordable housing, segregated housing, meaning areas that are restricted without it being said already, impoverished and crime-filled red light areas. The quality of life is depressing in most of these areas listed by DHA and HUD and other agencies that list affordable housing. I've been homeless several times and struggled to get myself employed and out of homeless. I'm employed now and have been employed for 18 months and have been homeless for the past 12 months because I still cannot afford affordable housing. Unfortunately for me, a year ago, in December of 2011, myself and 12 other tenants at an apartment on Rhode Island Avenue who were evicted from that apartment. And to this day, that apartment building, and it has at least 15 units, is still empty. No one is living in it. And that causes me concern, and I'm wondering, were we evicted because of money situation? But I'm not going to get off of that. But anyway, as I know, most of these homes that we've been delegated to find affordable housing areas, the areas are depleted, and most of them are downtrodden, and most of them are in the southeast, northeast area, and in my opinion, it's once again a form of segregation, because most of the low-income families are placed in those areas. Areas in the northwest, where I try to obtain some housing because I am employed now, I do make $30,000 a year, but that will help me get into an apartment in the northwest. It's impossible. I'm considered to be a pauper. Still, when I was homeless and a pauper, I'm still in that state and still homeless. I still share carpets, and not carpets, couches. And yeah, carpets too. But my relatives and friends who will let me live there, because they do know that I am functioning now and trying to get myself in a position to live a good qualitative life. And I've tried to get some housing through DCHA and been placed on the voucher list, and unfortunately most of the housing projects have been shut down. And because of that fact, most injured persons, such as myself, who have come from low-income families, who have been poor and poverty-stricken most of their lives, we have the only affordable housing available to us taken down and being replaced by condominiums with a totally unaffordable price tag of $100,000, $150,000 and up. We cannot get to those houses. We are not in the economical bracket to afford them. If they continue this pattern of closing down DC housing and replacing it with condominiums, what happens to the low-income families? As I heard the question put before. What happens to persons like me? You know, who are still struggling to find an affordable house to live a good qualitative life and not be actually homeless and living on the street and being subjected to the elements of nature. This structure has to go. The housing authority in D.C. and the D.C. government and the federal government must come to the aid of those persons who are homeless, those persons who are working but yet unable to afford income because of the unfair market value for homes and apartments. think about myself. But anyway, what goes on in my mind and in the mind of others who are homeless is what happens to us? Where do we go from here? Will we ever be able to afford housing in D.C.? Because each and every day that passes, a house is shut down, a house is torn down, and being replaced with a house that's unaffordable to the average citizen in D.C. I'm here today to appeal to the Housing Committee to, in fact, put in place a system that will allow persons such as myself and any person, people who have been working all their lives, who are now in a position where they have to rely upon subsidies and supplements for them to afford qualitative housing. It's important for myself and the children and the families that live in D.C. to have affordable housing so they will be able to have a good qualitative life and live a life that will present to them treasures that God has presented to all of us. That's why I came here today, to appeal to you all, to prevent the continuing trend of homelessness and to begin a trend to uplift the quality of life for those of us who really like to live and enjoy life as God will have us to do. Thank you for listening.